Well, interestingly enough, what a lineage group, which is basically the 8 elders that give me permission to teach anything that I teach, and I don't share anything in these wheels and keys and teachings that they have not given me permission to do so. And it's a matriarchal society, so it's primarily 8 grandmothers that are very tough grandmas.
Was there any opposition?
Yes, there was. And their concern is based around what's called the Rainbow Bridge prophecies, which were written just approximately 22,000 years ago. And in our current calendar dating, it runs somewhere from 1980. And then quickening begins January of this year and runs to 2012, where the Mayan calendar ends, of course. And
you did say quickening.
Yes. And the quickening is the time period in which, if I want to use, I'm trying to use language so I don't have to go back into my root language. If I use the term quickening, in which the majority of people are going to discover the reality.
No, we don't.
I mean, none. I see so few that it's just heartbreaking. We're in Roosevelt's for the people that can really lead.
Well, the problem is that they didn't get to where they are by being benevolent.
Exactly.
They got to where they are by stepping over the body.
right, what you're telling us right now, I presume, is it Cherokee prophecy? These periods of time that we're discussing?
It's actually twisted hair prophecy.
Twisted hair prophecy.
See, if you were to take, let's say you were Cheyenne, I was Cherokee, other brothers and sisters from different tribes, people. So it just didn't work. It didn't give us enough answers. It didn't give us enough connections and mysteries and different things that we wanted to know in the realms of knowledge. So we would go and travel. We would go travel with different tribes. We would travel with talk to people. And in doing so, we began to realize that, look, there was a lot more than one way to skin a cat here. There was a connecting link to the universe here that different people chose to approach in different ways. And so consequently, we would start looking for truth. We'd look for truth that works. And these gentlemen, these women, gradually started to meet each other. And interestingly enough, the roots go all the way back to a planet called Osiria in the Canis Major constellation, and the dog star Sirius was their grandfather's son. And if they came here approximately 172,000 years ago, bringing on the crystal skull, and that that's where the sum total knowledge of the 11 planets with human life in our solar system, or our galaxy, we don't even have the right words for it, our universe. And with them, about 22,000 years ago, Mr. Bell, they wrote a prophecy called the Rainbow Bridge Prophecy. And it speaks of 8 horses in a race. The horse symbolizing the carrying or the transportation of the philosophies and the belief systems. Slavery, dogma, the dark side.
The modern day is what you're talking about. And you say that this quickening, interesting choice of terms, collection of terms, began, did you say 2000?
Actually, 2001.
2001.
It actually started on midnight of 2001.
That sounds just about right, actually. As I look at events that have occurred, it seems just exactly right. That we took a little bit of a quantum leap at that point. And events have been
that was almost non-existent until approximately 83, 84, somewhere in there, when they first started diagnosing different cases. And that's right in the first 4 years of the awakening. And the awakening was moving over from one cycle, one timing of life experience into Dharma, or what we call Shilamadahe. See? And when we did that, the speed of life, the actual circle of life, which is our people say we go around the wheel of life once every, 13 times every 3 years. And all of a sudden, the speed, the pace, the timing, there's not a person I talk to that doesn't talk about how it just seems like time is moving so much faster. Mm-hmm. And that is in more and more prevalence of the shadow people.
You mean the faster our metabolism becomes, the faster we're moving in some sort of spiritual sense, the more we're going to see of them? Is that true?
Absolutely. Because in essence, if you take, every time we have a negative thought, every time we have a guilt, blame, shame, resentment, jealousy, envy, greed, possessiveness, insecurity, resentment. We're projecting that energetic out of our luminosity, out of our soul being, our spirit, if you want to call it that, and into the ethers, into the universe.
So then you're basically, I think, saying are what? Creating the shadow people? Feeding the shadow people? The implication of that would be, though, that there's some force that's already in existence that there's some that's the right word. It's existence.
I would say that what we're doing is we're assembling them into our world of perception. Seven streams of reality, seven streams or seven dimensions of reality. There are actually seven dimensions outside that the Zero Chiefs discovered. And these include
is that
we call them inorganic beings.
Inorganic.
The definition given in 1153 BC by the major Zero Chiefs that really started noticing the phenomenon. They feed off of our emotional chaos, our emotional discharge of energy.
So then you will excuse me if I get a little crude for you. I'm not as eloquent as you, but basically, if you were to see a shadow person a little more than in peripheral vision, it would scare the
yes.
out of you, right? And
example,
you're suggesting it would feed on that fright.
Yes, it will. And see, if you know anything about animals, then I'm not Dr. Doolittle, but I definitely have learned to communicate with animals over my life because we call the animals sweet medicine. And because they have a natural harmony and a natural balance and alignment. And you don't see a dog going to a psychotherapist to learn why it's not a cat. I mean, a dog's a dog and a cat's a cat. Well, we are animals. We're two-legged animals.
Sure.
But we have the potentiality to actually become a human being. And that's what we're in now. We're trying to learn to become human beings.
Are these inorganic beings sentient? In other words, are they conscious in the?
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
You got to realize that almost every form of everything inside what we call the sacred laws of creation or the evolutionary laws is that all forms of all things are potentially transformable into all forms of all other things. Created, not be destroyed, it can simply be altered in the essence of its energy expression, its energy form. So these inorganic beings are parallel dimensional beings, is the best way to refer to them. Have a tremendous capability of perception. The entire path and the things I study with the
okay, slow up again. Slow up again.
Mm-hmm.
I need to understand this. So, I believe that you are saying that we're not really seeing these beings with our eyes. We're not seeing them.
Not with your normal awareness eye.
Right. That we're seeing them with a lack of a better phrase, a psychic eye, or an eye that is there because the metabolism is moving faster. I'm seeing. I haven't quite put this together yet.
I can make it simple. Is it all right if I call you all?
thunder.
Yes. Either
Okay.
that or just gunny, because that's what I went by for so many years. Either one works
Or
fine.
I guess I could call you strikes, but that doesn't sound right.
Right.
Thunders.
Not only have your left and your right arm, everyone's very aware it's played out, which is in the forehead. But when you're asleep and dreaming at night, Art, do you not see, and in fact, we describe dream time. So how is it possible? What is possibly when possible thoughts of the baby's head when it's born?
Is it really?
Yes, that's your dream eye. All right. You also have a fourth eye, which is behind the base of the medulla oblongata, which is at the base of the spine, and that's your animal eye. That's why your hair stands up in the back of your head when you have a reality sense of danger.
Oh, I've been there, done that.
You bet. And we also have an eye in the palm of each hand, which has been depicted in many, many, many magical and spiritual texts. We also have an eye in we have an internal ear that hears when we're in the dream time. And by the way, dream time is 144 to 1 to our time, to third dimensional time. If you put a person you measure a dream during rapid eye movement, we know they're dreaming, we report it on all the machines, we wake them up and they tell us the time transition in the dream space.
Thunder, I've got emails. For example, where not just one person, but as many as 3 or more saw the same shadow person doing the same action. Yes, sir. Absolutely correct. Morphogenetic field theory, and I think it's one of the most brilliant theories there. Were the shadow people vampires. They're emotional.
I would say they are energy, and we call energy Orendi, to cover all forms of energy. They are Orendi vampires.
Oh, so there's nothing particularly positive from our point of view about their presence. Is that right?
I don't like to use positive and negative, but I will use good and evil.
Oh, well, if they're feeding on the negative emotions, whatever negative emotion might be present, that suggests to the average person that if they're seeing them, probably that's not such a good thing because there must be a lot of negative emotions flying about, right?
That's correct, but now let's take it another line of premise, that if I'm getting rid of and giving away my negativity, and it can be absorbed very much like a maggot, which is kind of revolting and repulsive for some people.
Yeah.
You realize that you could put a maggot inside someone's ear that's got a huge abscess. It will leave away all the rotten flesh and not touch the actual living vital tissue of the eardrum. You take them out, and their grandmother is little surgeons. So are they dark? Yes, because they feed off of that energy.
Account for his presence, it's not that hard to be that afraid. I mean, a lot of the people that have written me emails on this subject,
they're terrified.
Well, look, some of them have been in tears, writing in tears, because they've seen these beings all their life. Nobody ever said a word about them. All of a sudden, they were literally in tears because they've been maybe thinking they're crazy, scared to talk to anybody else about it, scared to even admit it to their loved ones?
Well, let's deal with one thing, the fear. Fear is nothing, Art, but the unknown. And it never will be anything but the unknown. It always has been the unknown. And there's only one solution to the problem of the unknown. Make it known as quickly as possible. So,
Good with that?
fear is a natural state of the human because of the molding, the sculpting, the armoring of the image makers and the people that are significant, reflections to us. And we develop fears that are frequently totally ungrounded. And these inorganic beings, these shadow entities, or beings, which we call shadow people because it's things in our normal awareness that we can identify with.
Sure.
Their truth is they're a little more like small human sort of bat-like figures. The description of the cloak that they see, or the shroud. One person was very tuned in. They definitely have red eyes.
Why don't you make... Yeah, red eyes. Great. Why don't you make the leap to evil? I mean, if they're food, and the engine that makes them more visible is